Hi, I'm Wayne Baskin, a member of the NORA Network Advisory Council and Deputy CEO and CTO of Booktopia, and it's my pleasure to be hosting NORA Network Showreel. It's my pleasure this morning to be chatting with Susan Martin from Smart in Planning, a valued member of the NORA Solutions Partner Network. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Wayne.
Apart from a very, very smart name, and we'll talk a bit about that later, what does Smart in Planning do?
So Smart in Planning, we're a merchandise planning company. That's my background. I've had 25 years in merchandise planning. And so not everybody's very familiar with what merchandise planning is or does. It's a tough one to explain because it's multifaceted, but pretty much I sometimes summarize it as the science behind the buying. And so it's involved in sales forecasting and analysis, inventory management, profitability, and touches every part, I guess, of the retail cycle, not specific to online and not specific to bricks and mortar. It's really that buying partnership to get the best out of your inventory and the best profitability. Yeah,
there's definitely a lack of understanding in the industry about merchandise planning, and it definitely comes across both online and physical retail.
It does.
And that word merchandising kind of confuses people because they start thinking planograms and how do I merchandise my website. So it's more of an analytical role. It's looking at the buying. Can you just go into that in a bit more detail?
So actually, I think a step that a lot of people skip is the strategy part. So it really starts at the very beginning with what is the business strategy, and that gets translated through into a financial expression of the merchandise strategy. So that is what a merchandise plan actually is. Typically a long-range view, so it might span a good 12 to 18 months into the future. It brings together all of your key metrics that you really want to be across. Obviously, there are more KPIs associated with online and newer ones that have been introduced into the mix. It brings together all those key metrics around your sales and your stock and your profit, your purchases, and so you're looking at stock turns and sell-throughs, and you get to look at them in one lens and really see how they interact. And that's really what's at the heart of merchandise planning and at the heart of retail is those measures don't operate in isolation, they operate and interact on each other. So that's the start of the process, translating that strategy into a plan, and then that plan gets distilled down into how are you going to invest your inventory, what promotional activity are you going to be taking, how you're going to be communicating with your customer, and it filters through every other function of the business that is involved in taking the product to the customer. But in the same way that you wouldn't build a house without a plan, why would you invest your biggest asset in your business being inventory without having a plan?
Yeah, it's a very important part of a business that people often forget, and I think it's the key to profitability, but also reducing stock obsolescence as well, which I think is very important.
For sure.
But so very hard to find good merchandise planners. How does Smart in Planning, help people find merchandise planners, or they come in and help? Let us know a bit about your model and what makes you guys unique. Why are you guys different?
I think in some respects the fact that we exist is what makes us unique, with planning being so niche. To have a company that is dedicated to planning and not part of a broader retail offering, I think in itself is unique. I think the fact that we scaled is unique. We have a team based here in Sydney and also Melbourne. We service retailers right across Australia, and we're having some conversations internationally as well. But actually mostly what I think makes us unique is our perspective, which is based on experience, and our style. My career has been a good 20 years in the corporate space before I started Smart in Planning, and starting with, I guess, leading practice back in South Africa, a really great example of what good looks like, a business where planning was part of the fabric of the business and worked really well, to coming to Australia, a lot more developmental. I was employed by Best and Less at the time that they didn't actually have planning in their business, so it was really blank slate, build it from scratch, recruit, educate. Working through a receivership, using planning, when the business was on a knife's edge, using planning principles to navigate through that. Cotton On Group, hypergrowth, 6 brands, 17 countries. That's a lot of different types of businesses, different types of products, different business models. And then last year when I caught up with Paul, I called out a cute little pattern in our trade. We'd been trading for 4 years. I worked with over 40 businesses and brands who had a combined annual turnover between them of $4 billion.
Well done.
This year, thank you, we're approaching 5 years, 60 businesses and brands with 7 billion annual turnover. And I like that there's still a pattern. It's not 4, 4, 4, it's 5, 6, 7. But I guess what I'm saying is that we've looked under the hood of a lot of businesses, lots of different product types, online, bricks and mortar, furniture, fashion, intimate apparel, you name it, and we look at trends for a living. So I'd like to think that we've distilled something out of that is unique to our experience. And that's what we offer to our clients is that lifetime of experience, and we can help them diagnose what they need to do, and then we can actually help them fix it or do it. So I think that's what sets us apart. It only really occurred to me the other day, but I think there's something there.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you're at the core of someone's business. You're looking at their secrets, their strategy, their secret sauce. And so, I think confidentiality is great.
Huge.
It's very important. And, we spoke off camera before about, can we talk about who you work with? And it was unfortunately not,
No.
And I think, as a retailer, people appreciate that.
Yes.
They want to know that the people that they're working with that are looking under the hood are keeping that confidentiality.
Absolutely, yeah, no, discretion. I think I just early days decided no grey areas. If we wouldn't even put your logo on our website for our own benefit, you can be absolutely certain that we're not going to be talking about anything we shouldn't.
That's great to hear. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with Susan Martin from Smart in Planning, also S. Martin Planning.
Yes.
Or there's an Art in Planning. You can look at the name whichever way you want.
And my maiden name is Stock, so if anyone ever doubted whether I was born to do this,
there you go.
There you go.
The people for merchandise planning.
Thank you. Thanks, Wayne.